Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Mubarak. I want to start with an announcement that inshallah maybe we'll make more comments on it at the end of our presentation here. But starting next Sunday, next first Sunday, inshallah we will begin officially. I've been working on it for years, doing a little spotty. I look and I find papers here where you started here, and where we're going to syllabicate the entire Holy Quran, inshallah, beginning with the Al-Fatiha. And I've done the Al-Fatiha so many times. We've done that right here. But the thing we want to add to it is that Sister Robin spoke to me today and explained that when we start that, she's going to try to keep all of the lessons together, so when you go on Mosque's site, you won't have to search for all of these lessons, because they're going to be, and I don't know how many lessons it's going to take, but we're going to be able to do 2 boards each first Sunday, because the board is working on the other side now. Brother Elam's grandson, Brother Kevin, cleaned the other side of the board, so we got 2 sides of the board. Now we've been restricted to one side of the board, so, and that's if you don't have it on the board when you come in, then you can't cover nearly as much. So I just want to mention that to you, and we will talk more about the significance of this project, which I don't think anyone in the world has ever done it before. I don't think so. I don't know about it, but we'll find out once we put it out there. We'll see who else has it, all right? We have translations and we have transliterations, but no one has done syllabication, all right? So we got to think of a nice, concise little subject title for these lessons on the syllabication of the Holy Quran. Okay. Today we want to talk to, since this is the month of Ramadan, the 9th month, and it's the 9th month of our calendar. We know that Imam Mohammed explained to us that in the 9th month, that's when human birth takes place. So we may be able to get a rebirth here. We keep working on it. We got a few more days, about 11 days, or 12 days, I think, 12 days, possibly 11 days, to try to make it on the scene with a new life. And it's a great blessing. So there's a verse in the Quran that we want to start with, and I guess the board is about situated where you want it, like, right, Sister Robin? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll go to the board so that it would be easy for the camera. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to talk about is the project that we all are working on right now, and that is reading the Quran. And so I put up here on the board, we know the first thing that we should do is make ta'awuz. Holy Quran, Allah tells us that we should seek refuge with Allah. So we have that on the board. That's the first thing. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And then, of course, before we start reading, we should do what? We should begin with Allah's name. So even though this is not the beginning of the chapter, the verse that we want to focus on today, but still, if you just started to read, you should do the tasmeen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And now the verse that we have is and I wrote it in Arabic, but this is the 2nd chapter, the 122nd verse. So you only got 2 numbers to learn now, 1 and 2. 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so that's 2, that's 1, 2, 1. You can see that this one and this one looks alike, and this one and this one looks alike. They may not be exactly the same, but that's because I don't have a typewriter hand where I can produce it just exactly like I did each time. Okay, so this is the 2nd chapter and the 121st verse. And this is one of the places where we are instructed on how to read the Quran. It says, الذين الذين آتيناهم الكتاب يتلونه حق تلاوته. It is tihi, but we got to stop here so we don't pronounce it. Tilawati. Ulaika yu'minuna bi. Same thing here. It's bihi, which means in it, with it, but we started so we just be. All right. And then we say, وَمَن يَكْفُرْ بِهِ. Excuse me. وَمَن يَكْفُرْ بِهِ فَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. Now, you can look at Yusuf Ali and see what the translation is, but I'm going to give you I'm going to have a few little different words in that than what he has, all right? Of course, this is saying those, and he says those who we sent the book, but this doesn't say sent. This says gave. We gave it to them. Those to whom we gave the book. We gave it. I tell you that, you know what we say? I tell you, I would say, I'm trying to think of the do out of this. Come on, help me. Yeah, I tell you that. Yeah, I tell you that. You know, no, that's not the one I'm trying to think. The do out where we say, oh Allah, give us good in this world and good in here. Oh yeah. Yeah, I tell you, that's the same. Okay, this is I tell you. Okay. Okay, so this is the same. This is give. This is not sent. Rasala, which is would be arasala. Arasala, we sent, but this is not sent. This is gave. We gave them the book. Yatlunahu, and his translation he said, study it. It's not read. It is study, but it's not the regular study. The regular study would come from darasa. This word tilawatihi, and then it says haq. And so he translates these two words, studied as it should be studied. We know what haq is. Haq is truth. Okay, so to study it in truth, and of course that is the way that it should be studied. Okay, but in truth, and this word yatlunahu, that really means follow it. Follow it. In other words, they're not just reading it. Darasa would be studying to like erase the darkness. This is studying. Both these mean study. Tilawa means to study. Tilawa. But it means to study by way of following. The root word for that is, I believe it's tulu. Let me see. I'm not sure about the first vowel, but I'll give you the radicals, the letters. All right. This for that word is and I think it's tulu. I think it's tulu, maybe telu, but I'm not sure. Okay. But that's the root letters here. So if you want to look up in the dictionary, you look up this the tab, the lamb, and the wow. Okay. I'm not sure about the vowels. I didn't take the time to verify that, but it means to follow. So is reading it, following it. All right. Not reading it just for an exercise. You know, we get caught up in it now because we're rushing, trying to finish, make sure we finish it. So we'll focus on it. But we should be also trying to follow it, meaning implement the messages that we're reading into our lives. All right. I had a brother call me one day this week. It was before Friday, but I can't remember exactly which day it was. From Little Rock, and I missed the call, but he left a message, and so I called him back. He said, "I've been intending to call you all month, because as I started reading the Quran, I think about one of the lessons that you gave us when we had a class in Little Rock, and this was the word that he was talking about. I'm going to write it up here. Ta-he-lu. Ta-he-lu. All right, so Allah asks us in the Quran, the first place that I know that is in the Quran, it's in there many times. This will always be at the end of an ayah. It won't be in the middle of an ayah. It always is in the Quran many times. The first time you find it is the second chapter in the 44th verse. And Allah has presented us with the fact that, I can't remember exactly, but I have said, oh, I know what it said. Will you enjoin righteousness on the people and forget to practice it yourself? And then he ends that ayat, that verse is Afalat Ta'qilun. And of course, I think Yusuf Ali maybe translated it, will you not understand? But it really means, will you not make the connections? Will you not make the connection? And so even as we listen to the recorded tafsir of Imam Mohammed, begin to notice this. He doesn't do it the same way I do it, and I didn't realize I had copied off of him until I started listening. Man, he does it. I go back and give emphatic notification. This is a root word, so he'll just say it comes from a word meaning so and so and so. He's referring us to the root word. That's how you make the connections with the root word. If you don't go to the root word, you're gonna miss it. All right. Okay. So the word ta'qilun. That's what the brother called me when he said, I've been thinking about something. I'm reading slow, and I am too. I am too. It takes me long. I could run through the words pretty fast, but I'm focusing, trying to get the message. And so as I read, I'm looking, what is the root word for this? What does that mean? And then sometimes I'll be kind of stumbling. And so whereas ordinarily what should take me an hour to do, it takes me 2 hours. But that's all my life is time anyway. So time well spent is a better life. Hey, that sounds pretty good. You can quote me on that, all right? Time well spent is a better life. All right. So this particular ayat is saying, saying those to whom we have given the book, read or study it, meaning they follow it. They study it by way and following it in truth, or the way they should. And then it says, they are the ones who are the believers. If you don't follow it, ulaika is those, meaning the first, and it actually means the first ones also. You're in the first class. You're first class. All right. It's coming from a word that means first. And so ulaika meaning your first class. Your first class in belief, in it or with it. And then it says for those who reject it, or may yakfur bihi. Those who reject, they don't just reject it. See, that's what we have to understand. You see this? I'm not just putting it aside. I don't want you to see it either. So kafir means to cover. So a kafir is one not only who rejects the message, but he covers up the message also to try to keep anybody else from seeing it. If he just rejected it, maybe that wouldn't be so well. That ain't for me. But he covered up either not necessarily just physical, by actions or by something else that he wants, that he presents to try to make what this message would have gotten to you if you had seen, or if you do happen to see it. I don't already put something in your head that's going to make the true message counterfeit. You see? And we'll try to talk some more on that in relationship to the next ayat as well. Okay. And thanks to Brother Kevin, I even learned his name. I just been called. He has a middle name. His dad's middle name. His granddad's middle name. So granddad's name he has for part of his name, which is Elam. And to make it easy on myself, I've just been calling him Elam. But he did such a good job on this board until I learned his name this morning. I'm gonna call him Kevin from now on. Give him his individual props. All right. He couldn't get the scratch out of it. One scratch was on the other side. 2 scratches. That was actually cut into the surface. But all those permanent marks from permanent markers that were on, he got it all off. I don't know what he used, but he got it off. So this is going to take the. I'm doing pretty good because it's just about halfway. That's good. This is another ayat. This ayat is 62. See, the 6 looks like the 2. This is the 2. And this is the 6, but it's turned the other way. So the 2 is turned to the right, and the 6 it looks really like our English 7. It looks like the English 7. Okay. So 62, and then the 9 looks basically the same as our 9. So it's the 62nd chapter and the 9th verse. And of course, the 62nd chapter is Surah Al-Jumu'ah. So that's going to take us right into what we want to end up with. And that is, it says, I'll read it first and then we will talk. I says, this is the 9th verse, 9th ayat of the 6th chapter. Yeah, you heard Ladina Aminu that. Oh, I should point to it so you can see exactly where we are. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعى إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. And you, yes sir. I got something wrong.
June, you didn't dot it.
Well, what?
Jumu'ah.
Oh, I left the dot off. Thank you. Thank you. What did I do? Thank you. I haven't even seen it. I didn't see it when I was reading it. What did I do with the marker? Oh, yeah. Jumu'ah. Yes. That's right. I don't know what the word is. That's called misspelling a word. When you leave, the dots are not optional. Thank you, Brother Dave. Dots are not optional. I read what I intended to have there, but it wasn't there. All right. Jumu'ah, what I had was, I don't know what, Humu'ah. I don't know what that is. It may be something terrible, too. Astaghfirullah, we pray that Allah forgive us for making that mistake. Thank you for pointing it out. And I want to say that in prefacing the rest of what we talk here, what we have to say here. If I do or say something wrong, and you know it's wrong, and you don't bring it to my attention, you are partially accountable for that also, because you saw what was wrong and wouldn't correct it. You're obligated. You're obligated. And when you see something wrong, you should, what does the prophet say? You should change it with your hands. And if you can't change it with your hands, then you should speak against it. And if you can't speak against it, if it's too dangerous for you to speak against it, you should at least be against it in your heart. And that's really what we're trying to get there. So you really fit it right into the presentation today, brother, because that's an obligation on us. Now we have something that's creeping throughout our community, and it has been done by way of what? Cover up. You get it before you get to it, and so now you got something that you think that this is. Yeah, we got 12 minutes to do it. This is good. I know you've seen it. Don't jump out of your seat because you may have been doing it yourself, but it's obligatory upon us, and we do have the evidence. I don't know exactly where it is right now, but which CD is on. But it's on I know it's September the 30th. And I know it's 76 or 77. The Imam gave a talk. And he did what I had to do Friday. We have people who come in, and there's a hadith that has been put in our hands. Come in the middle of the khutbah to make that sunnah. They got a hadith out there. They covered it up and gave you something ahead of time. These are a little small. You may think it's small, but remember, Imam Mohammed pointed out to us that the Muslim world today is not where they should be. They have actually fallen, and it's because of little things like this, covering up something, add something else there, and so forth. So I'm going to show you why this particular hadith. The brother was blowing my phone up last night. I could hear it. I'm in the bed. I could hear it. I saw it this morning. Sending me hadith. Send it to me 2 or 3 times. And the hadith says that the prophet was given the khutbah on Jumu'ah. And a man came in and sat down. It doesn't say he stopped the khutbah, but he had to stop the khutbah in order to address the man. Have you prayed? And the man answered to the negative. They said that's how the translation goes. First he said to me, didn't have Jumu'ah in it at all. I told him, brother, this is before I went to bed. I said, brother, Jumu'ah is not even in this at all. You don't see, because I thought it might have been another case, even though I had heard of this. When you come in, you're to make 2 rak'ahs. Don't that make you real holy? You come in, regardless of the imam, just making his, and you distract us because somebody look to see how you do this or how you have distracted. It says, so it says the prophet stopped and told him, make 2 rak'ahs. Now, I'm not a muhaddith. A muhaddith is one who's a scholar, an authority in ahadith. Ahadith is the plural of hadith, all right? I'm not. But I use my, what that word we had up on the other side, but ta'akilun, I use my common sense. And I know people who come right here on Fridays, every Friday late. I don't mean every Friday late and come in and do the same thing. Am I lying? Y'all know I'm not lying. Every Friday. There's certain people that come in, they're late every Friday. They have violated the Quran. Now, here's what I mean by this. I mean, we may be a little late because traffic may catch us. But if we obey in the Quran, we're not going to wind up being late all the time. Here's what Allah says in the Quran. Oh, we got it on the board. It says nudiyat. Where? Nudiyat. This is the call. This is what's translated for call. It means call, but not call to the ear. That's adhan. Udhun is the ear, and adhan is this is the heart. Nudiyat comes from the word nadab, which means moisture. And you know how you may have made this expression sometimes, say, man, I saw Joe Willie, I hadn't seen him so long. I laughed until I cried. Your feelings associated with moisture. Say, man, I thought I was going to be all good at doing something. My boss told me I had to work and made me so mad I cried again. Again, both extremes of the feelings is compared to moisture. So this means when you got the feeling, while you're a believer, you got the feeling for Jummah. Most of us, if I dare not say maybe all of us, but most of us don't live close enough to a masjid where we can hear the adhan with our ears. So you're not coming to Jummah because you heard it with your ears. You're coming because you felt it in your heart. All right? And that's what Allah is saying. And He says, when you do that, He says what? Fas'a. There's a root word here. Let me write the root word up there for this. Fas'a, the fa is a prefix. That, you remember the word fa meaning then as compared to thumma meaning then also. Thumma means then but something, so and so happened. Thumma, so and so. Something happened, then something else happened. But in between the two acts, something happened. But fa means go right from one to another. Like to say yawm after yawm. Day after day. Ain't no time in between one day and another. Yawm after yawm. Day after day. Fa, okay? So that's the fa here, meaning instantly. After you have this is coming to your attention for Jummah, it says fas'a. Fas'a comes from the word, let's see. Sa'a. Weak verb here. Sa'a. And that means to put forth some energy, some effort. Many of you have been on Hajj. What do you do? What is that called when you go between Safa and Marwa? Called Sa'a, right? You mean that you don't stroll between Safa and Marwa. What are you doing? No, you got to put some energy in it. And I don't care how old you are, you're supposed to be stepping the best that you can, right? All right. So this is what it's telling you. Now, if you do this, when the feeling for Jummah, and you put forth some effort, you're not going to be late every Friday. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because you have put some effort in getting ready to get to Jummah. All right? That's the first thing. Then the next thing on that is there is a hadith that the Prophet has that says, when the Khatib stands to give the khutbah, the angels sit down and listen. That's good advice not only for those who are sitting down and listen, but that's good advice for the Khatib also. Because he better be listening, because Allah will bless you, the Khatib as well as the people. You're not up there talking on your own. First of all, you're representing the office of Prophet Muhammad. And I even this past Friday, I had notes, still got them, that I never did get to because Allah changed the subject for me. And that particular, well, it was two brothers who did, but that one particular brother stepped right into the notes. Right into the conversation that Allah had taken me away from my notes to. And that is, when you come to Jummah, come early. The Prophet also said that when you come to Jummah, you get there early, you make your sunnah, your nafil prayers, you can pray as much as you want to. before the Jummah starts. Then sit, and then you sit. And he said, contemplate the blessings of Allah. Why? You have obeyed him. Allah has just told us to come to Jummah, and you have obeyed. And don't you know you're going to get some reward for that. Allah forgives us for our wrong, but he blesses us when we do right. All right? So that if you said, and then he said, while you're sitting, there are two angels, one on each side of you. One who's asking for your forgiveness, and the other one who's asking for blessings for you. Now, does that sound like, which one? And they tried to cover that information up by saying, you got to prove how holy you are. When you come in, I don't care if the Imam is in the highlights of his khutbah. You got to stand and you got to make your rak'ah. You're distracting. Even in distraction, Imam Muhammad went this far to tell us this far. Now that in particular, anybody know what
It's out in the last 4.
Yes, it's in the last 4, but I just can't. I got it in the car. I just meant to look it up, but the date on it, and it has it has a name. I can't remember what the name is, but it has to do with Zakum, the tree of Zakum. What's the name of that one?
That's it.
Yeah, okay, Zakum. In that one, that's why we got a live example, not just by way of interpretation, which is what I've been doing so far. He said, he stops. He says, Allahu Akbar. He says, when the Imam, somebody was making sure. He says, when the Imam begins the khutbah, you're not supposed to make it sunnah. So, although what I have given you so far would probably have satisfied most of you, but for those of you who weren't quite satisfied because you doesn't really believe this big-nosed nigga know what he's talking about, now you got it from Imam Muhammad directly. It's that I've been knowing it all the time, but I didn't know where. Couldn't remember where. And I know when you come up with something and they got a hadith that they can show you, you might as well leave them alone. But you might as well leave them alone anyway, you know. But it's in Zakum, the tree of Zakum, and in that particular CD, it's where Imam tells us that, yes, sir.
And he gave the whole group a reminder after he told them. He said, and I'm saying it to everyone not to do this.
Right.
And don't interrupt the khutbah.
That's right. It's all right there. So David has listened to it, and if you haven't, they got it out there. Is it out there?
Yes.
It's out there. All right. Get it and listen to it. All right. Okay. So that's basically what I wanted to get to, because it's spreading like a disease. And this brother, I know he must think he's right, because he's burning my phone. I can hear the phone. I got the phone so I can hear him when he go off in the morning. You know, no, my phone whistle. I thought, go to hell. I knew what it was. Sure enough, I tell you when I got up and looked at my phone this morning, there was, he got text after text. I don't even know it. I don't. He's not in my contact list, but I'm pretty sure that I know who it is, you know. But it doesn't matter, because I got something for him. You know, when you try to shake me off of what I know is right, well, you'll be shaking a long time. And Imam gave a talk on that, where he says the title of the talk had to do something like this. It says, "Those who don't fear the criticism of the criticizing." I may not have said it exactly right.
That's right.
Oh, is that right? Okay. I don't fear the criticism. I wouldn't care if he brought Sheikh Humzina, you know, from the #1 mosque that just dropped out of heaven. In other words, first, now I gave it to you 2 ways, and then I finally gave it to you directly from Imam Muhammad. Okay. I gave it to you showing you that it's against what the Quran says. If you're putting forth that effort to get rid, now you may be late. Any of us may be late sometimes, because things can happen, but you're not going to be late consistently. And we had one young brother, but he listened. He was coming in, he had like 2 or 3 songs, and at the beginning of the course, he had them all lined up there. But he did. He stopped when we told him. He stopped. But but this has been a little while ago, but it's coming back up again. If we ignore stuff like that, we're not going to fulfill what Imam Muhammad has told us is our mission. And then we got to restore Islam. Islam is not in its proper place. And those who see us know it. As a matter of fact, I have had 2 or 3 of them that personally tell me we think that y'all are going to have to teach us Islam, because they know that they're lost. And closing out, well, I'm doing good. I got 17 seconds. Look, if I wasn't telling you the truth, then look at the world scene to see if the honorable Muslim society is honorable. When they are killing each other, they're not fist fighting, they are killing each other, blowing each other up.
That's right. That's right.
Now, if the news is wrong, then somebody should go and dig that up and bring it to us so that we won't be victimized by it. They are killing each other. Is that the Muslim life? No. And even in Arabia, they're just now beginning to experiment with the possibility of women driving cars.
That's right. That's right.
Let me make one comment on that word. Nisa. This came up well, they did finally tell me who it was. Last first Sunday it was. Imam Rasul brought it to my attention. And I found out it was his wife that brought it to his attention. They told me, and they don't mind me telling. He was asking questions about the treatment of women differently, for lewd conduct, differently from men. The women got to be confined to their homes till they die. And the men, if they straighten up, leave them alone. I don't blame that sister for being troubled by that. I guess she said, damn, you're going to lock me up forever. Dear brothers and sisters, I'm going to leave it here and then you can just say this to you. The word that is used for nisa, and it does mean women. I don't believe that the word existed prior to Allah revealing the Quran, because it has too much information. I don't believe those Arabs could have been in Jahiliyyah and had the word nisa for their women. Nisa means that which is neglected or forgotten. Allah revealed a whole surah with that name, and Nisa, Surah to Nisa, the women. But when you read that, don't think that means just female only. There's a man responsible for that title. Men, because of the way they treated the women. So always know that there's more to that than just the female. Female is untha. All right? Nisa does mean women. But from a perspective of what has happened negatively, I mean the way that, so when you see when it says keep it in the house until it's dead, that's referring to you, man, with your bad conduct and the way you mistreated them. All right? Not just to the female. So and the Quran is filled with that word, nisa. Nisa, all right? One more quick comment on that. When it says Moses said to the children of Israel, remember Allah's gift to you, mercy, blessing. I've forgotten which word it is. Said he saved you from the people of Pharaoh. They set you hard tasks and punishment, slaughtered your sons and let your women folk live. And that word sons there, first of all, we should have set up right away. Why say slaughter your sons and let your women folk live? Seems like she said slaughter your sons and let your daughters live, right? But both of those two words both will come from the same word. Abna comes from the word bana, which is the same word that the prophet says when he says Buni al-Islami ala-Khamsin. Allah says Islam is built on. So Abnaikum is the building blocks of your society. But when it refers to the women, it says Nisa. It says that they gave plenty of life to Nisa, to your forgetfulness. So that's what, and that is indeed what has happened to us, the African American. They have destroyed in us the building blocks to build our society, and they have kept alive and made plenty of fertilizer for forgetfulness. I know I could go on and just talk about this, but I just had to share it. So, sisters, when you're reading, don't be downhearted because you see a comment on that seems like women are getting the raw end of the deal, the short end of the stick. That word is nisa, and nisa doesn't just refer to the female gender. It's referring to how the men have mistreated the females also. Thank you very much. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. You see, it was in my brain. I know y'all thought, well, what he doing up there? He can't even remember that, do I? And everybody knows. I wasn't worried about it because I know it's in my head.